Hey, hello. I'm running my let's see, these are the missals I've got. So this one is a St. Joseph missal, an old one, but it's on the spine. It has Latin and English written on it. It's a special Latin English thing. It doesn't have the Latin for everything, but it has the Latin for the introit there, and the gradual Alleluia, the offertory, and I'd say the Communio as well. But the rest is just the Communio in Latin and English. It's got a nice big type. So here on the left is the Baronius Press book, and the right is the St. Joseph Missal. So they're not too different. The St. Joseph Missal's, I think it's a rounder sort of font. It's got bigger counters, so it's a bit easier to read. And the Angelus Press, I'm sort of putting them one on top of the other, so it might be a bit of parallax error. You see the Angelus Press is a lighter, smaller sort of font, so that's comparing those. And the last one, the really weird one, is this first edition Edmund Campion Missal and Hymnal. So yeah, I was an early adopter. For the ordinaries, it has these full colour plates, and sometimes it's got one column layout, which is nice and big, and sometimes it uses, like that's enormous, yeah. Sometimes it uses a 2-column, let's see if I can find, there's a 2-column one. But the type is still quite large, and if you look compared to the Angelus, it's much bigger. It's a lightweight sort of font. It's a bit fancy, so it might not be the most ultimate in readableness. Yeah, this is the sung mass parts. It has the chant built in, and then after, in the middle of the book, it has a few manuscripts to show what the Taiji looks like over history. And the low mass has got a grey background and different drop caps, and yeah, it's still quite readable. The propers are in Latin and English, and they're all quite large type compared to, say, the Angelus Press there. See, the Angelus Press uses a smaller type for the Latin, just slightly smaller. The difference with the Baronius Press with their Latin and English is quite marked. But yeah, the Campion uses a fairly similar sort of size font, and yeah, all in Latin and English. And for some really big feast days, they put in the chant as well for some of the sequences and things. And they've got these big pictures with more Latin around the outside. So it's English at the bottom and then Latin around the outside. So there's lots of different sort of treasures that they put in, because they don't want to waste any of the white space. I just can't seem to find a fancy bit. But they do have things like, I think, the Veni Creator or something like that in the propers. In the back, after the propers, you got the prefaces, you got the hymn book at the back. So it's got a full, the ordinaries, all the ordinaries. So all the 18 masses and the 6 credos. Okay. My battery's dying, so it's unable to use the flash. But yeah, and it's got all these melody-only hymns at the back. Yeah, so that's the hymns. I use these holy cards as bookmarks, but you could add ribbons, and there's the index at the back, and a little bit of Gregorian chant in modern notation. So, it's actually not chant, it's the modern sort of tunes. So yeah, it's a mixture. It might not be perfect, but it's quite interesting. And there you go. So that's the Campion Hymnal versus Baronius and Angelus and St. Joseph. So there you go. That's the 4 that I've got. God bless. Oh, what's that? This is one I made myself. Okay, so I forgot. But it's got the for text size, it's probably on a par with the other conventional sort of ones. I think it's a bit bigger, and I've made sure the Latin and the English is the same size. So it does have the ordinaries of the Mass. It has a selected Kyriale in there, and it just has the Epistle and Gospel in English. So that's another book. I haven't got this officially fully available. It does have all the credos though, because we have a funny guy who likes putting in all the credos, and when I asked him which parts of the Kyriale to put in, he had particular ordinaries, but all the credos is his preference for putting things in. And it's got all these hymns, just mostly English, but there's a few Latin bits in there, and prayers at the back that they use at Giruine, the FSSP, the Perpetual Sucker Novena, and things like that. Okay, well, this battery is lasting longer than I thought. But yeah, probably have to call that a day. So bye. See you later.